Black from TV talking to writer director Eva Victor on her film Sorry Baby. As we're talking today, you were nominated for a couple of awards for the Gotham Film Awards. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's take me back. Obviously, this movie's been having its run since it played and premiered at Sundance. To continue on and having the accolades you've received so far, what's it feeling like?
It's mixed. I think I'm very, very grateful that the film found an audience and that some of the people who've seen the film feel very connected to it. I mean, that's a filmmaker's dream, is to make something so personal and have people on the other side really feel that and to understand it. So, I mean, that's been like kind of the dream come true of it all.
Take me back to when you put in this, writing this story. It's not a dark story, but it's a story that some people can relate with. And there's some things in there like having a best friend, going through trauma, finding a way to heal yourself. What brought this up?
I really wanted to make a film about trying to heal and about the best friendship that gets you through trying to heal. And though there is violence at the core of what happens in the film, I was not interested in a film that depicted violence or focused on violence. It's much more for me a film about the rebellious act of trying to be after going through something difficult. So I think the journey was looking for a film and not finding it, and then making the film I needed at a time in my life.
I always say when somebody has to put together a story as a writer-director, it's a bit of an albatross just to get it done. How many drafts did you go through before you put in the elements and you say, okay, I think I'm done, I got it?
I don't know about that feeling of done. It feels like you get to a point where you understand probably that it's time to shoot it, and that that the script is foolproof enough to shoot. But the film keeps surprising you after you write it, you shoot it, and then it uncovers itself to be something completely new past that point. The writing, I had Barry and Adela and Mark from Pastel around me, guiding me, and I don't think they would have let me, honestly, they wouldn't have let me shoot something that wasn't ready to shoot. So I luckily had their voices saying, it's time to cast now, we're ready to cast. And you learn along the way though, like if you see a bunch of tapes of a character and the character's voice doesn't make sense, you learn about what's missing in the script. There's all these moments that you recalibrate based on what you're seeing and what information you need to add to your script.
What's the feeling like when you're wearing a lot of hats, including in front and behind the screen?
On set, it's definitely a vibe. The first few days we scheduled a bit lighter to try to get adjusted. I had playback, which was near me whenever I was shooting, and I would go and watch playback often, which obviously slows the day down a little bit, but I think you regain time because I was noting myself, so there was no translating of notes. So I could quickly adjust my performance, and honestly, my actors came in incredibly prepared and incredibly good. So it was really a joy to. We weren't losing time very often, honestly. We got to play a lot.
Independent films can be seen as a labor of love, especially when you have the cast and crew. Talk to me about having Lucas and Naomi. I know Lucas, I've seen him for a long time, and Naomi I don't know, but each of them contributed a great deal as supporting players to your film.
Yes, Naomi is I think like our big movie star of this generation. She is the best actor we have. Like, she is made of light and warmth, and she's so generous, and that kind of energy, the kind of energy she gave me as a first-time director was such trust, and I'm so lucky she gave me that because it took me a bit to understand exactly how to talk about what I needed. And she's just beyond. And Lucas, obviously, I've been seeing him on screen my whole life, and it was very exciting to meet him as an adult, because I feel like we've seen him on screen as a younger person, and getting to work with him, he's so diligent, and he was very clear on wanting to get every comma I wrote in the script into his performance. And as a writer, that's just like a dream come true, that someone wants to be word perfect in that way. So I got to work with the best actors. I don't know why they trusted me to be in scenes with them, but I'm very grateful they did.
That's a question. I usually ask actors, what is it they want to add to their role outside of what the script called for? If this is your story, you wrote the script, what more did you want your actors to add in outside of what the page called for?
Well, I mean, it's such a relief to cast somebody in a role because right? I mean, I wrote the roles in a way that like I did my best guess of what I think the character would be interesting to play and how it worked for the story. Like, but I wrote the Liddy role and the Gavin role and all the roles really in a way that if I got the script, I'd be excited to perform it. But like these actors come in and they have their really specific energies and voices, and it's a real relief to say, okay, this is yours now. Like you are the advocate for this person, you are the expert, and I am no longer in charge. And I think I don't know, you kind of, there's a relief in getting to hand it off because that person's then gonna meld what you wrote with their energy, and that is much better than trying to hold your actor to something you imagined. Like my actors, the reason I cast them was because of who they were and how they moved, and so the script is really just like a guideline for how to create a person, but their job is to create a person, which is very difficult.
Talk about difficult. You talked about the actors, but what did you want the cat to do?
The cat thing is intense. Cats really aren't trainable. And I had a loved one's cat as the older cat, so we got to have a cat I knew around. But as the older cat, but the kittens, they were from an adoption place outside of Boston, and they got adopted before they even got to set, so they had homes ready for them. But cats were very special, and babies are too, because they don't know they're in a movie. So it's very live and it's very intense, and it's very fun to act with something that thinks whatever's happening is real, because it forces you to be present in this like special way. But no, I recommend if you're writing a film for yourself to be in, give yourself a kitten to hold the whole day, because it will make things much better.
This film has touched people in different ways. Is there anything you learned after the film's been seen by different people that you didn't know you had in your film and that you didn't see it a certain way but somebody else did?
That's interesting.
Whether it be from the best friend's perspective, somebody who also went to the trauma, the perspective of, the colleges, their position that they takes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think whenever parents talk, I don't have children, and whenever parents feel connected to the speech at the end of the film, that's very validating for me. And I don't know much about children, and I think it's always nice to hear from and also sometimes I'll meet someone who's like a therapist, and they'll be like, if a therapist tells me that I got it right, that feels really good, because I was kind of working off of instinct and less off of like clinical rules about how it feels to be living after trauma. So whenever I get parents or psychologists, that's always affirming.
I know your work from Billions. And
you
now
do?
Yeah, because I'm a huge fan of Billions.
Oh,
so when
cool.
I go, I know her. She played
cool.
Ryan.
I played Ryan. I did.
And then, so the question now is, what's better for you, in front of the camera or behind? We don't want to see a one and done. I know it's not easy to get a film, produced and get it out and have the success. You can't always replicate the same thing. Everything's different. But where do you see yourself,
I feel like the secret is you never have to choose. You never have to choose in front, behind. You could do whatever you want. And honestly, less whatever you want, more what the story calls for. So I think looking for that feeling where like my heart is on fire while I'm trying to make it and what role should I do to make the film the best it can be, I think is my guiding force.
You have a team, and it's like you have a hit song, where's the next one? You have a hit book, when's the next one? You've now been nominated, it's like for your writing, for the film. So like, obviously people are gonna wanna see what you do behind the screen, because they're gonna always remember what you did when your first one.
Yeah, I feel like thinking about filmmakers that I really, really admire, it's about like a body of work, and it's about coming back to the work over and over again, no matter what people think. And I look forward to all the. I think, you know, making a film is a leap of faith, and like I will continue to try, and I'll continue to work as hard as I can, and that is the work of an artist.
Skill set wise, what did you learn from this movie moving forward? Whether it be you get more money for, you know, a bigger film, you know, budget, whether you can use a certain camera. You know, sometimes when you create an independent film that's of yours, you know, you go with what you got. But if whenever your next project may be, is there anything you want to do more or less?
I think it was a journey of learning to trust myself while making the film, and it's exciting to get to have had 5 weeks on set to learn the film and to learn what I needed from the film. Going forward, I think, like, you know, in picking collaborators, it's like that's a huge part of the job, is hiring people and figuring out who's going to make the film with you, because at the end of the day, like, many hundreds of people made this film with me, and looking for that sort of fire in their eyes, no matter their experience level, about the script and about what the film is going to be, I think is probably the most important thing to look for. And I look forward to choosing people based off of passion for the project, especially on a small film.
When the journey of this film, the run of this film is over, do you have anything next?
I have to figure it out because I haven't taken a nap since January, but I look forward to figuring that out. And when I know, you won't know, but you'll know later maybe.
You gotta think of like Peter Pan, keep flying till it's over.
Exactly, gotta keep flying till you get to go home and go to bed.
Exactly.
But in Savannah, we party. We don't sleep in Savannah.
Okay. Congrats on the film. Congrats on the accolades. We'll talk down the road. Have a good one.
Thanks.